Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Papercrafts here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in central Scotland. Welcome back to another project. I thought I would do a fun project this time, and I've made a little pizza box using the Bonanza Buddies even suite. So I'm going to show you how I made it. It's really quick and easy, and here's how. So what you're going to need is a piece of cardstock which measures 10.5 inches by 6 inches, and this is Mango Melody. You're going to need a piece of the Bonanza DSP, and let me just tell you what the proper name of it is because it escapes me. The Birthday Bonanza DSP. So just very quickly to let you see all the sheets in this, very pretty paper, and again it's double-sided as always, 2 sheets of each. This is the one we're using today. Look at him, isn't he just gorgeous? Some candles, cute koala as well, and the, what is it, is a toucan? And the dies actually cut out your stamped images, but they also cut out these little critters on the paper as well. So moving on to the dies, you'll need a piece of scrap Whisper White just for stamping your little lion and your greeting. So we're going to use the Bonanza Buddies photopolymer stamp set, and this is the lion's body and his mane, and actually this little part here, which is on the side of the stamp set, if you can see that, is actually the tip of his tail. Well, it actually stamps that way round because his wee lugs are on the top of there as well. So I've already mounted these onto blocks, and this is the lion's little face as well. It's really cute and fun to do, I have to say, and I had good fun making this. The Bonanza dies that we're going to use are this one here to cut out the lion's body, and this one here to cut out his mane and the top of his tail. But you've got some bunting, some pennants here too. You've got the die to cut out the koala and the die to cut out the toucan as well. And actually a lovely label die too. And I'm just having to think about what I can make with that. So I've got an idea in mind for this week's Simple Sundays project as well. So that's the dies we're going to use, and also for the happy birthday label here, I just used this larger of the 2 kind of more circular dies as well. So let me show you how I made it. The DSP, sorry, for going on top of the box because it's 3 inches square. So this is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And this is part, these are some of the papers that you also get in the, let me just bring it over, in the free paper sampler. There it is there. It's a free pack of 48 sheets featuring several of our Designer Series paper packs, and you'll see here that there are some of the Lily ones as well, which is one of our free papers during celebration. So anybody joining Stampin' Up during celebration will get this free paper pack in their starter kit, as well as this cute little paper trimmer as well. It cannot be bought, you can only get it as part of your starter kit. And not only that, if you sign up with Stampin' Up, you pay £99 for £130 worth of products, which is normally what our joining offer would be. But as well as the paper cutter, which needs a clean, and the Designer Series paper stack, you also get to choose any stamp set that you want from any of our current catalogues, but that excludes celebration stamp sets, and it excludes host stamp sets as well. And I think I've mentioned in another video that the most expensive stamp set that we have at the moment is £42. So if you were thinking on joining, then that's something that you could choose free of charge over and above choosing your own kit as well. So if you're interested or want more information, I'd love to extend the Corrie's Inspirations team, and I'd love to have you. So get in touch if you've got any questions. But otherwise, let's get on and make our pizza box. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and apologise for the glare as always. And we're going to score on the long side at 1.5 and at 4.5 on both sides, and that just makes sure that your measurements are exactly the same on either side. Otherwise you could score it at 1.5, 4.5, 6 and 9, but I like to do the same scores on each side when I'm doing a pizza box, so that I know that each side is going to match exactly. And then on the short side you're just going to score it at 1.5 on both sides, and that's all the scoring done. So let's get the scoreboard out of the way, and then just fold and burnish on all of those score lines, just making sure that your paper or your card does line up on either side. Oops, as you go. I'm trying to bend it where there isn't a score line, that's not clever. This is actually quite thick card. The more coloured the card, the more pigment that's in it. So I think what I'll do is fold it that way, because I'm trying to curl it as well as folding it. That doesn't look straight to me, but it must be. Yeah, 1.5 and 1.5. It's just a trick of the light, I think. So that's what you end up with once you've done all your folding. And both sides are exactly the same. So you've got your two pieces in the middle, your 3x3 squares, these parts here. One will be the top, one will be the base. And then you've got 3 squares and 2 rectangles on each side. 3 squares and 2 rectangles. And we're just going to cut up each of these score lines to be able to put our box together. So cut up to the score line, but remove this score line onto your square, if that's making sense. I think I'm waffling a little bit. And we're just going to do exactly the same on all 6 squares. So cut up, leaving the straight edge on this large rectangle, removing the score lines onto the squares. Oops. And then just wedge either side like that. Excuse the plaster on my hand. I did cut my hand with my paper snips in the last video that I filmed, and I'm filming back to back, so there's probably going to be a couple of videos where I've got a plaster on my hand, so I do apologise. It's not a good look, but first aid must at times. So the advice there would really be, don't cut your hand with your paper snips, and it just reinforces how sharp these actually are. And I mean, I've had these now for 4 years and they still manage to give you a good cut, so just be very careful. And that's all the cutting that we need to do as well. So that's what you're left with when you've done all your cutting. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to add a piece of tape along each of these smaller squares, piece of tearing tape, just near the fold line but not actually on it, like so. And then we're just going to trim these tabs down a bit, and you can do it before you put your tape on. I'm just going to use my tape as a guide so that I cut in a fairly straight line, no other reason. I think you maybe heard a guinea pig coughing in the background there. He's too greedy with his water bottle and he usually makes himself cough. But he's fine because I can... Aren't you? Yep, he's back to his hay again now, so life's hard when you're a guinea pig, isn't it? I share my craft room with 3 guinea pigs and a bunny rabbit, but the rest usually manage to behave themselves apart from that one boy. So, folding the larger rectangles out of the way, I'm just going to trim these down about 1/8 of an inch longer than where the tape is, and I'm just using the tape as a guide to cut the tab, just like that. You don't have to trim them, you can leave the flaps as they are. I'm just trimming it down to save having to put more tape on, and for the purposes of not having such a long video, because I always like to put my tape on with my ruler. So all I'm going to do now is just take the backing off all of these bits of tape. There we go. And actually, before I stick the box together, I'm going to put my piece of DSP on while the box is still flat. So I'll grab my glue and I'll grab my little piece of DSP, pop some glue on the back, just make sure I get into those corners so that they don't start to lift. Oh, but I don't want that to squish out, or that. There we go. And make sure that whichever part you add it to, I think that's got a slightly neater fold line, that you have, if it's a directional pattern, you have your card kind of going long ways up and down away from you, so that your paper's going to be facing in the right direction once you put your box together and the lid is closed, and that looks okay there. That's grand. And then that is going to be the lid of my box, so I need to make sure that all 4 of these tabs go to what is the bottom part of my box, otherwise you'll find that you've just stuck your DSP onto the base of your box. So the base is obviously the part that doesn't have the DSP attached to it, so you've got 4 flaps that you want to join together for the base, and I'm just going to give them an extra press with my paper folder just to make sure that that tape's well stuck. There we go. And then last part to do is join the flaps for the lid as well. There we go. Again, just give them an extra press with my paper folder and pop the box together like that, just to check that it all does fit together nicely. But last thing that I need to do is grab my 1-inch circle punch and just put a thumb notch in here. So about 1/3 of the way into the punch, not quite halfway I don't think, because it doesn't need that big a notch, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it either side to make sure that I'm in the middle. Punch that out, and then that just means that your box opens a lot easier when it's closed. It is quite a snug fit, but it's meant to be, so that helps to open it. And that's the box made. If you've got any furry corners, just give them a wee trim with your paper snips. So on to the stamping, and I will actually need another piece of white card. So I need my Memento ink, excuse me, and I'm going to stamp my happy birthday. I might need a bigger piece actually, so I'll just go with this one just here because I'm going to run it through the die machine. the gorgeous font on that. I really like it. It's really quite fun. And then I'm going to stamp my little lion. So for his body, I'm going to use crushed curry. This is one of our older style ink pads. And Mango Melody for his mane and the top of his tail. And I'm going to use my Memento again just to stamp his face. So here we go with a little lion. And I might manage to cut these all out together. I hope you can see that. So just press down nice and firmly. There we are for Mr. Lion. Bring my Memento back in to stamp his wee face. It's just so cute. Now I think I will apologise and pull this towards me a little bit so that I can make sure that I get his face in the right place. There we are. So cute. And then my Mango Melody just to stamp his mane and the tip of his tail. So remember, don't throw that out because you're going to need it. And if I bring in my Big Shot, and hopefully you'll be able to see that. If I pop it over a little bit, there we go. So I've got my magnetic platform on the bottom, cutting plate next, pop my card on at a bit of an angle. In fact, let's cut this off and it lets us put it at more of an angle. I'll maybe pop it this way so that I can line up my lion. So bringing in my dies, I've got the Stitched So Sweetly dies which I want to use. Oh, I'm not going to see this very well. No, do you know, so that I get it right, I'm going to, there we go, I'm going to do them separately. So let's just cut out the happy birthday first. Another cutting plate on the top. Pop that through the die. Apologies if it's sugaring the table. So that's my happy birthday cut out. There we are. And then, whoops, my wee lion. Pop this die back in the packet so that I don't lose it. Bring in the die then to cut out my little lion and the one for his mane, and just make sure that I line those up, and hopefully the magnetic die won't move them. Now again, I'm not looking over these directly from above, so I'm hoping that that's lined up enough. And the same with my little lion, making sure that his ears and his tail aren't getting chopped off. That looks about right there. So cutting plate on the top, and fingers crossed I've got those lined up enough. Crank them through. Don't worry about that noise. Sometimes the Big Shot makes strange noises. Means it's working. And I've got my body and my head. Don't worry, I know he looks like I've decapitated him, but he's meant to be like that. And my little bit of my tail. There we go. So let's get the Big Shot out the way. Oh my goodness, you get a workout lifting this Big Shot back and forward, I can tell you. Let's put the dies away, because I really would cry if I lost these. They're gorgeous. I've taken quite a while to start playing with them since I got them, and I don't know why, but I'm going to use them a lot more now. So put those away, get the card out of the way, and here's our little lion. So we're going to put him together. So a bit of glue just on the back of his wee face, and I'm going to use my tweezers actually just to help hold it and put it down. So I'm just lining up his little ears with the white on the main part. There we go. And then on his little body here, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around his, looks like a neckline on a little jumper or something. Not too much because I don't want it to squish out, but obviously enough to hold it together. And I'm just going to add his face and his mane on there and just make sure that it's straight. There we go. And then add a tiny dot of glue onto the top of his tail just there, and then put his little fluffy bit on his tail here, and again put it wherever you like, at an angle or straight, it doesn't really matter. I've bent that a little bit, but I'll smooth it out with my tweezers, and there he is. How cute is that? I absolutely love him. I've actually made a box for my daughter to put some sweeties in, just to cheer her up a little bit. So I'm going to put those to the side just now because I need to cut another piece of card, I've just realised, for my belly band. Now I did have a piece and I don't know what I've managed to do with it. I tidied up this morning and I think I've tidied up my belly band as well. So I'm going to pause the video until I can find it, or I'll be back and I'll cut another one. So bear with me for 2 seconds. And I'm back again. I never found it yet. I don't know what I did with it. I've obviously tidied it away very well because I don't know what I've done with it. So you'll need a piece of cardstock, matching cardstock. So I've got my Mango Melody. And it measures 1.5 inches wide by about 10.25 inches long. But don't worry too much about the length. You can trim it to whichever length you want, but this is about 10.25. So what I did was I started in the middle on the base of the box. I'm not very sure what that mark is there. I think I'll turn that round. Looks like it's missed a bit of the ink when it's been getting manufactured. So start in the middle at the base and just gently curve the body band round your box, and don't pull it too tight because you want to be able to slide it on and off, and just roughly take the shape of the box, and then you can come back and burnish those, just making sure that you crisp up those score lines and keep the belly band straight so that it goes round your box straight. Again, just making sure that it matches, or it's not going to join together properly when you get round to the other side. So there we go. That's about, oops, nope, that's not right at all. So let's just turn that over and reinforce on that side, and just flatten down those edges because I've turned it round to the opposite side, to the side that I cut it on. So now that should go round perfectly and join together nicely, but so that the join is in the middle at the bottom, I'm going to bring that part over here and join it there so that the seam is in the middle. And I think I've got enough room to add a couple of bits of tearing tape, which I've now also managed to lose. Not too very well today. Where has it gone? For goodness sake, it's right beside me. I can't see it for looking at it. Oh, jinx. So, a couple of pieces just near the edge of this part here. just to make sure that it stays closed securely. So I'm putting the tearing tape on the end of that original part that I started with halfway along. Don't burnish too hard or you'll start to mark your card like I have there. So I'm just going to fit the belly band round my box again, take the backing off and join these together nice and neatly like that, but not pulling them too tight so that your belly band does still slide up and down the box. And then I'm going to add some of the gold glitter enamel dots to this. Now I added a large one. Oh, and that's left its sticky bit behind, that's not good. So I popped large one just in the middle on the bottom, a bit more central than that, but never mind. Oh, the same's happened to this one. Oh, right, it must be the way I'm trying to take them off. I the next size down here, and then I think the next size again. Oh, I've done the same again. They're well stuck. Oh, right, time for my take your pick, and hopefully that'll slide that off and pick it up. There we are, and not waste any more. So there you go, fabulous tool. The putty on the end is absolutely brilliant for picking up things like that. I'll try and stick these all back together. And then I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of my happy birthday, just like that. And I'm going to add that to one side of the belly band to leave enough room for my little lion. Oops. So I'm just going to pop that about there, and bring in my little lion and pop on another couple of dimensionals here. But I want to add just a little bit of dimensional to his tail, so I'm going to cut a mini dimensional in half, which then leaves, oops, the perfect size to pop on the end of his tail. So I just pick up this little bit here, add that there like that, and stick the rest of them down. If we can get the backing off the dimensionals. How cute is he? And I just added him round about there beside my sign. There you are. So there's our little sweetie boxes with a happy birthday message. And actually I did manage to add a few of these Godiva chocolates, which are milk caramel lions, and I know that these boxes hold 8 of those, and I've made a box, as I say, for my daughter and added the caramel lions in as well, the even match colour wise. So that's my little gift boxes there. Hope you like it. Enjoy making yours if you decide to make one as well, and I'll hopefully be back very soon and see you again. Bye bye now.